Hi guys. So today we're here to go over the Rolling Stone article that just came out highlighting Gypsy Rose Blanchard. First, I want to get the very obvious point out of the way. Shame on Rolling Stone magazine. Not that I, have a ton of faith in these tabloids and magazines and media companies, but shame on them. Shame on Rolling Stone. Shame on Rolling Stone for allowing this halfway fictional book to be advertised using their name. Very obvious. Let's start at the top, and of course I will have this linked down below for y'all. Sitting on a white armchair on the Sunday morning after Thanksgiving, the soft bayou light streaming into her family home, something is bugging Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Something's bugging her. What could it be? Could it be that she is out here living her life, about to have a baby, and Nicholas Godejohn is literally rotting away in prison? Highly unlikely. Just throwing it out there. It feels like a circus, she tells Rolling Stone in her distinctive high-pitched voice. High-pitched voice, we know, is just a manipulation tactic. That is not how she actually talks. And as far as it feeling like a circus, yes. I labeled her as a circus months after she was released because I saw the direction this was going. All around her, there are family photos and reminders of people who love her. There's a sign across from her that reaffirms this family. A little bit crazy, a little bit loud, and a whole lot of love. That might be quirky for some people, but the Blanchard family is not a little crazy. They're a lot crazy. Christy Blanchard needs to be canceled, right alongside Gypsy. As far as Rod, he's just a weird co-signer of everything, probably because he doesn't want to go through a divorce. And Mia, she is already out on her own, and hopefully she stays far away for a long time, because I don't get the whole, oh, well, it's your family. Oh, it's your family, but it's your family. For me, that doesn't really hold weight, because if someone in my family was as evil as Gypsy Rose is, I don't need to sit at the Thanksgiving table with you. I will see my way out, and I will stay far, far away from this circus. But she keeps no pictures of her mother around. Blanchard, 33, spent more than 8 years incarcerated for her involvement in the 2015 murder of Claudine D.D. Blanchard. Since she was released last year, the attention has been constant. I'm not an animal in a cage, she says. No, she's not an animal in a cage, because an animal in a cage I would feel bad for, and I would want to free that animal. And I would not want to see that animal confined. Gypsy Rose did not serve enough time in prison. And how dare her compare herself to an animal? An animal is not remotely close to Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Gypsy Rose is an evil, manipulative mastermind who literally got away with her. Blanchard's private life is better now in the small bayou town where she lives, about an hour outside of New Orleans. She is staying at the home of her father, Rod, and her stepmother, Christy, and is experiencing a lot of new things. Grocery shopping, paying bills, doing laundry. She just returned to Florida, where she spent the holiday with her boyfriend, Ken, and swam in the ocean for the first time. I got water in my mouth and was like, oh, it's salty. I didn't expect that, she says in an almost childlike tone. The couple, who first met through a pen pal program in 2017 and reconnected after her release, is expecting their first child, a daughter, in January. Blanchard hopes that she can go to cosmetology school later to become a hairdresser. Now, as far as paying bills, what bills is she paying? Can someone answer that question? Because you're not paying for housing. You don't have a car. You don't have, utility bills. You don't have car insurance. What bills is it that you're paying? And as far as her saying that she wants to go to cosmetology school and become a hairdresser, nobody would allow Gypsy Rose to do their hair. And her having a business would be a risk. She's already said that she can't work a job, but now you want to come in and be a hairdresser? All she does is lie. But her life is anything but normal. In the near decade since her then boyfriend Nicholas Godejean fatally stabbed Dee Dee in her Springfield, Missouri home, Blanchard's saga has become fodder for everything from long-form podcasts to prestige documentaries to a scripted Hulu series starring Patricia Arquette and Joey King, which she said she still hasn't watched. To be quite honest, I didn't know how big this story was until I got out of prison, she admits. That is, again, a lie, because she had her ex-cellmate setting up social media for her. She knew that people were curious. She knew what she was going to step into. She knew it. That's why she was planning it, so that she could make that dirty money off social media when she came out. While Godejean was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life without the possibility of parole, Blanchard was given 10 years in prison for second-degree murder and was released last year after serving about 7. She had spent an additional year and a half incarcerated waiting for trial. Since then, she's been torn between reclaiming her life story and coming to grips with the fact that some of her legions of followers might be paying attention for the wrong reasons. "I don't want people to follow me because of the crime that I committed," she said. "I don't want to have fans because they feel like what I did was right." No. Gypsy Rose has a very small amount of actual fans. And those people, I've kind of written them off now. Most of the attention that she gets is from people who cannot stand her and want her to go away. There's a very small percentage of people who look at her and think, that's actually okay what she did. And the more that people learn about everything leading up to the crime and they're like educating themselves on this, those people also turn against her. Dressed in a slouchy yellow sweater, she hands me her phone. The left sleeve is pulled up to reveal a tattoo of a husky, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? The screenshot shows a photo taken without Blanchard's consent of her in the waiting room of her OBGYN's office with Ken, which was subsequently posted to a Reddit forum dedicated to dragging her. On Facebook, she shows me there's a photo someone snapped of Blanchard talking to the teller at the bank, along with comments trolling her appearance, her relationship, and the crime itself. If she stopped trying to make money by doing books and reality shows and all of this nonsense, eventually people would stop. I know it might take a while, but you can't be a public figure, say that you want to live a private life, and then get upset when people are taking a photo of you at the bank. Would I do that? No, but other people would. When she was released in December 2023, Blanchard believed that she could and would live a normal life. And then she says, "I started to understand that is not reality. That's because you came out and you wanted to be public facing. The show, the social media pages, you were loving the attention." Until people educated themselves and said, this isn't actually the way that it went down. And we're going to talk about what actually went down and remind everybody why Gypsy Rose should not be treated like a celebrity. Instead, her reality is much more complicated. It's why she says she felt compelled to tell her story in full. On December 10th, Blanchard will release her memoir, My Time to Stand, which details her mother's suspected case of Munchausen syndrome by proxy and mental illness, which a caretaker makes up fake symptoms or causes real ones to appear that a healthy child is sick. Dee Dee was not diagnosed with Munchausen by proxy. She was not diagnosed. And you cannot say that somebody has that when they are dead, based off of stories that their kid is saying when their kid is literally on trial for murder. It also covers the family dysfunction and trauma she experienced as a child, from her grandfather's essay of both her and her mother, to the lies her mother told government agencies and charities to scam benefits, including a house from Habitat for Humanity. She talks about the men, including Gypsy, with whom she began relationships online, and multiple attempts she made to escape her mother's home. All the while, Dee Dee was godlike to her, her sole caretaker, and who was always hovering. Gypsy Rose will never find true love, Blanchard claims her mother would tell her. Gypsy Rose will never find happiness. The memoir's release comes at a time of radical change for Blanchard. In the past year, she's divorced her ex-husband, whom she married in 2022, became pregnant, and had to learn life skills like balancing a budget. Balancing a budget? She doesn't pay bills. You have to have a household or at least numerous bills to budget. What the hell are they talking about? While Blanchard's story has been across numerous platforms, she says the memoir is the first time she has had the control of her narrative and the events leading up to and after the murder. So basically, let me write this book and put in some new fictitious details to try to make people feel bad for me and try to make people remember that I am this meek little victim, and if I didn't do what I did, then I would have not gotten out alive. She should not be allowed to write a book, and she damn sure shouldn't be able to make money off of it. After years of trying to move away from the crime, she is returning to the scene in her memory and in her own words. An author's note in the beginning of the book says that while some of Blanchard's memories have faded, the memoir is true to my memory, and these memories have shaped my perceptions, many of which are also shared here. It also goes over some of the shows that she's been on, blah, blah, blah. This reality can be depressing for Blanchard, who is preparing for possible protesters at a book signing event in New Orleans later this month. She has publicly disavowed what she did to her mother, as well as supporters who feel unaliving her mom was somehow the cool thing to do. Nobody is saying that it's the cool thing to do. Are you insane? But each time someone secretly takes a photo of her in public or posts a video slamming her, she wonders if there will be any path towards a normal life, or if she's even capable of living such a life by the time she becomes a mother of her own. No, I don't think that you should be able to have shows and books and go on Fox News and all this stuff, and then also say, but I want a private life. I want a normal, quiet life. You are a damn hypocrite. To this day, I've never seen the crime scene pictures, she tells Rolling Stone. I heard her scream, but the aftermath of what happened is unknown to me. I think she should be made to see those photos. She should be made to look at those photos, and it wouldn't make her understand anything, but I don't think that you should be able to orchestrate something like that and just, oh, I don't want to look at those. I don't want to look at those. You caused it. I started to think, if nothing happened, how old will I be until this stops? Will I be in my 40s, in my 50s? Will I die? She says, that was the moment when I was like, okay, something needs to happen right now. And instead of you doing it because you're a damn coward, you groomed and manipulated a disabled man to do it for you. So you could come out after a short little stint in prison and say, I didn't commit the act. It wasn't me, guys. He's back there doing, time in prison because he's the one. But it's your fault. She then struggled, recounting how she lay in a fetal position with her hands pressed over her ears as Gypsy repeatedly stabbed Dee Dee as she called out for her daughter. In that moment, Gypsy couldn't think about the years of abuse she suffered. She could only focus on her breathing. For a while, Blanchard had a recurring nightmare that her reliving her mother's murder each night, and as observer witnessing the crime. I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad for her having a recurring nightmare. I didn't want to make Dee Dee's death the sole point of the book, but I did want readers to understand that there is a level of trauma. It's not something that happens and then you go back to your daily life and you're fine. It's something that doesn't go away. Nobody has ever come up to me with anything negative to say, Blanchard said. Leaning back in her green recliner, Christy guesses why none of the online hate shows itself in person, and she said they don't have the balls. I've spent too much time doing this video and I need to move on with my afternoon. I might revisit that article in an upcoming video, but it's a lot of degrading Dee Dee and, you know, in a way, justifying what she did in a roundabout way. And as far as Christy Blanchard saying that people don't have the balls to do anything, you are begging for trouble. You are begging for trouble. And if this in-person book signing happens, this article just came out, you're saying people don't have the nerve, they don't have the balls, nobody's ever come up to me and said anything negative, and you have this book signing coming up, all it takes is one person to take that personally, and you have given them the time and the place. Not saying I wish it on anyone, but be careful what you say. But either way, like I said, we might revisit that in an upcoming video, but I need to get a move on. So for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.